So it appears we have a casting for Ahsoka Tano in The Mandalorian Season 2, set to hit Disney Plus this October. But what is their source? Let's talk about that right now. Hello everybody and welcome back to another movie news video. My name is Joker and today we're discussing the mysterious casting choice of Ahsoka Tano for The Mandalorian Season 2. I would like to take a moment, however, before we go into this just to talk about the world right now, because it is getting a little crazy out there with the whole COVID-19 coronavirus thing, and a lot of the movie news that I could have covered in the past week has been rather really negative, and I know I probably should cover it anyway since I'm trying to be more of a journalist type channel for a lot of movie news, so I should be covering both the good and the bad, but it has gotten very overwhelming for a lot of people, so I figured, we wait till we get some positive news out there to talk about it. So pretty much in this uncertain time, just, trying to keep it positive for everyone and hopefully get some good news out there that'll make people's days a little better, because we don't know what everyone's going through, so we just gotta stick together, stay positive, and stay healthy. But now, back to Star Wars. So we have this interesting casting news that is coming out from Slash Film, which is really interesting. I don't know much about this, however, apparently it is a very reputable source as everyone else has been reporting this same thing. And the reports are that Rosario Dawson has been cast as Ahsoka Tano in The Mandalorian Season 2. Now, typically I would be through the roof excited. This is some big news, it's pretty interesting, and there's a lot of ways that this could really work very well. But they say they have sources, but they don't go ahead and give us what those sources are. And now I understand there's a lot of times where sources come out that are reputable, that want to stay anonymous and, by the fear of losing their jobs and whatnot. But it's the fact that when it comes to something as big as Star Wars and has such a giant fan base as Star Wars does, coming out with news that a main character like Ahsoka could appear in the first live-action TV series from Star Wars, you really want to have sources for that. And I'm really saying that because of the Slash Film article that came out, which at one point states, "We have confirmed this Dawson casting with 2 independent sources." Awesome, we got 2 sources. What are they? "We reached out to Lucasfilm to request a statement from the company or Dave Filoni, but received no response. We have been chasing the scoop for a month now and have reached out to Rosario's reps, which also didn't respond." So they try to reach out to reasonable things to tell us, hey, we got it confirmed from Lucasfilm or from Rosario Dawson's representatives. Neither of them wanted to make any comment on that, which could make sense. At this time, they don't want that news getting out. They're still probably going through post-production for The Mandalorian Season 2. But what are these other 2 sources, and what is it about that is so reputable? Now, I say that because obviously it makes sense that this is potentially true, considering every other news source has been reporting on this the same way. Screen Rant, Collider, THR, Variety, I think even The Hollywood Reporter at one point did the same thing. So obviously whoever gave out this information is important enough that everyone else got the same information and can say, you know what? I can trust this source. This is pretty big news. Let's report on this now. So I'm going about this news as if obviously they know something that I don't, and that's going to come to light in later days, months, closer to the time of the release of the next season. And looking at this from a positive side, if this is true news and they're actually casting Ahsoka in The Mandalorian, let's look at what this could mean as far as the timeline is concerned and what this story could entail. So pretty much going back to the end of Season 1, that right there is all we need to know to actually have Ahsoka involved in the story in any way, shape, or form. I could be completely wrong, but if we look at the facts of Moff Gideon having the Darksaber, I think that seals the deal for me enough as it is. First reason being, The Mandalorian takes place after Return of the Jedi. At what point after Return of the Jedi, we don't really know, but it is probably a few years after. At the same time, the last time we see Ahsoka Tano in the timeline, it is in the series finale of Rebels, which does take place as an epilogue after Return of the Jedi, where Ahsoka and Sabine Wren are out looking for Ezra since he disappeared after fighting Grand Admiral Thrawn. 2. The fact that Moff Gideon has the Darksaber after everyone's been talking about the Purge on Mandalore. Now, the Darksaber, this is where that comes in handy. Now, we know that Sabine Wren at one point had the Darksaber, but she felt that she was not the one to be in charge of Mandalore, so she gave it over to Bo-Katan, who was Duchess Satine's sister that we knew in the Clone Wars series. Now, she had it, she was at Mandalore, the Purge of Mandalore happened, so it's looking potentially like Bo-Katan died and Moff Gideon got the Darksaber. Now, that could potentially draw in Sabine and Ahsoka after their search for Ezra. Maybe they're just avoiding that for right now and going and attempted to help on Mandalore to stop the Empire from purging Mandalore. Now, during this time, it is possible that Sabine and Ahsoka took a detour from looking for Ezra to go help with the Purge on Mandalore, potentially may have failed in that, and now Ahsoka is possibly looking for Moff Gideon to get the Darksaber back, or just to get back at what he did to Mandalore, and potentially even Sabine, because we don't have Sabine. She could also show up alongside Ahsoka in this, we don't know, or something could have happened to her on Mandalore during the Purge. This is all speculation, but it all does tie together to show that you could bring Ahsoka into The Mandalorian and use her character wisely and help push the story forward without taking away from the idea of, hey, we have the Mandalorian and the child, baby, not Yoda, because that's what everyone's obsessed with. But if you bring in Ahsoka, maybe that's going to potentially help. It might also be useful for Ahsoka to help with the child being Force sensitive, going to the planet where the child is from, and discovering the race of what Yoda is that no one wants to talk about, but we kind of want to know what it is. And in doing so, it could potentially help set up for later seasons, 3, 4, however many they have planned out. But I'm thinking, instead of just using a character for the sake of using a character, in this case, using Ahsoka in The Mandalorian is a smart move from Lucasfilm and Dave Filoni. This isn't just being used just because they have Ahsoka, because everyone really wanted to know what happened to her, and especially after the Ahsoka Lives movement that happened on Twitter. And this could also potentially be a great way to bring Ahsoka's story to a close, so we finally get the full arc of her character starting from the Clone Wars and ending all the way in The Mandalorian, or it could continue past that. We don't really know. Again, it's all speculation. I don't even know if this casting is true, but I'm going to treat it like it is until proven otherwise. But what do you guys think? Are you okay with this casting choice? Do you like the idea of Ahsoka Tano being involved in The Mandalorian at all? Or do you think we should keep her out of the show and focus mainly on The Mandalorian and baby, not Yoda? Let me know in the comments down below. I want to talk about it. But until I get any more news on whether or not this casting is true, or if it's just a rumor that spread like wildfire, that is going to be it for this video, guys. Remember, if you like what you saw, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments down below if you want to see more movie news videos or if you'd like to see anything else. But until then, and as always, I will see you guys next time.